All right, guys, today is the 19th of December, 2025. CRAZII Global Market Talk with KEL. CRAZII anytime, anywhere. Now, once again, guys, this is ongoing right now. The market last night saw the craziest of CPI data. And when I saw the data, I couldn't believe my eye because it is crazy. The number doesn't make sense. The number was ridiculously low, and I was surprised. So I quickly ran to the CNBC screen. I turn on the CNBC. I see the numbers. It's like 2.7%. Oh gosh. I mean, seriously, we're talking about 3.1% dropping to 2.7%. While I kind of realized that nothing have changed my life, I don't feel anything like I can pay more stuff. In fact, I feel that the thing getting more expensive. So I was kind of shocked. But it doesn't matter because we're a trader. Whatever the market say, we follow first, right? So we do whatever we need to do. We buy and sell, and it was crazy last night. So let me share with you later on this particular part. Yeah. Okay. So before that, disclaimer apply as usual. Please do your risk management. So let's start with the fundamental first. Then we talk about the yesterday market, and then we follow by today's market. Okay. Today will be three-part series. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the global market first. Last night, what actually really happened? Now, first of all, the S&P 500 snaps a 4-day losing streak boosted by a cooler than expected inflation data. Now, I was expecting the data to be lower, not because it's fundamental, but it's typical. After a shutdown, after such a long period of disadvantage, negativity, I am in the market for so many years. I've seen a lot of ways they can do a lot of massaging of the numbers. So, of course, I was expecting a 3.0. Now, when I saw it's a 2.7, we know definitely for sure the Federal Reserve will have that option to cut interest rates. And so that was why the S&P 500, the US market, shoot to the sky, right? And of course, at the same time, gold will go up. So gold and the Dow Jones all went out at the start, okay? So then after that, what happened? Let's read, yeah. So basically, the market was kind of buoyant by the lower than expected inflation data. And of course, in general itself, right, market was saying that all is good. The core CPI, excluded food and this energy, 2.6%, way lower than the Dow Jones 3%. So the thing is this, the BLS apparently canceled the October inflation in late November because they realized that it doesn't have the usual point. So they took away some data from it, okay? And then after that, they kind of realized that it's not that enough. They also technically remove away November's data. I'll show to you later. So because of all that, it's all right. It become very interesting report. So CNBC hardly speak about what happened during the day. He just basically tell you that, okay, things was okay, all is good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll come back later, yeah? Now, Japan consumer inflation stays above central bank target for the 44th month, boosting a case for the rate hike. So basically, inflation is from 3% to 2.9. So, but US can from 3.1 drop to 2.7. Incredible, right? So the thing is this, because of that, that's why BOJ most likely today, right? If I'm not wrong, they will likely hike the interest rate. Yeah, there's a high chance that Bank of Japan will hike the interest rates. Okay, I don't have the date here. I remember it's today, 19. So let's see. I'm right later on. Just double check. Now, Bank of England cuts interest rates, well, interestingly, ahead of the Christmas season. So that's why you can see that the US will likely be also following through. Okay, so let's look at the calendar right now for today. Today's calendar, we only have the core PCE data, and it's looking at 2.8% and 2.0.2. So I kind of suspect that in the CPI data, they can do some massaging of such expense. I think that most likely the PCE should be around the same level or slightly lower. Yeah, that's how I see it. Okay, so the US Dow Jones chart, we can see that we have a very strong reversal yesterday. Let's take a look. Let me show you the chart later on. So you can see that from your screen, the market was on the way down, okay? And we have a very strong reversal, but it failed. It stays below MLP, so that is negative. So I strongly believe that the Dow will still go testing this. The Dow will test somewhere around here at 47,000. 600 series. I think that is where the market will be going for. All right, and of course, we still have some room. Oh, what is this suddenly? We still have some room for the downside for the market. So I suspect that there will be some more selling coming in. There's a KCB around here. I think the KCB will be nicely tapped into the moving average here. Okay, so put it that way. Okay, I want to show you this is the main thing here today. Now, if you go to my X account or my Twitter account, find me on crazy.com. Okay, I just posted some stuff once again. Now, today, I'll tell you this. Last few weeks, we all know that many retail went in to buy many shares like Google, Nvidia, Meta, Palantir. Now, let's take a look at these counters. Yeah, you see, if I would have buy some this Apple, I'm losing money. Can you see that? If I buy Apple, I've been losing money the last 2 weeks. Let's say I buy some Palantir. All right, I'm kind of flat, so not so bad. But if I buy Google, okay, I'm down, not a lot, but still overall down, not significant, but still down. And what counter we're looking for again? We talk about Nvidia, right? Nvidia. All right, straight down, Nvidia, you can see that the share price from the high end of $185, $84 have been going down all the way. And remember, I did tell you that, right? Nvidia, very high chance will tap around 140. I've given this call since last week. I told you that Nvidia will go down lower, and seemingly it's all happening right now. Okay, so basically, let's take a look. Now, if the retails are losing money, then this is going to be a very serious issue because you don't want to have that, right? But while the stock market all says it's good, but if the retail are making money, it's just a matter of time you're going to get that flush coming in, yeah? So traders, you need to be very, very careful on that. Now, Germany, we know the German DAX is actually trading near the high, but the market shows that the economical recovery is not there. In fact, the business climate index has fell from 88 to 87.6, all right, the lowest level since May. That shows that the fiscal stimulus is not having any meaningful impact. Okay, so this one is very interesting. It says from Michael Burry. Now, Michael Burry felt that, right, this is a very interesting chart. It says that only a time whereby when household holds more shares than real estate, usually that is where the stock market will come down. So this was what happened back in 1967, and this what happened back in 1997, and now we're having it again. So whenever that happened, it's really incredible. You will have a recession. That means that when people are not buying properties anymore, or they buy lesser property, but they invest in share market, that is where usually the final trap that it will be, and that's where the stock market will likely collapse. And of course, Bitcoin, I've been very bearish on Bitcoin, and today I managed to find for some article. You can see that in Bitcoin recently, we have Binance, Wintermute, Coinbase, Fidelity, Bitstamp, all sold Bitcoin. Now, that's a lot of Bitcoin, $2.5 billion worth in a few minutes. So why they sell? Well, I don't know why they sell, but I've been telling you guys it's time to get out from Bitcoin, right? I told you that let it drop further. If you can drop to 70,000, that'll be excellent, yeah? Okay, so this is the one that I want to show you to you. Why the inflation stopped or reduced to 2.7%. Well, because the government actually literally stopped reporting the data in October and November. This is really crazy. And this is not makeup. This is all available on the mainstream media, yeah? But because that since these guys are so good at it, they already did the diagnostic. I just have to follow what they say. So the media doesn't focus on this report because obviously they cannot focus, right? It's ridiculous. So let's see what happened. Yeah, everybody take a look. Yeah, this is really incredible. Look, they literally took away everything. The data for all these are not mentioned. So because of that itself, right, that basically give you a consensus of what happened. So of course you say maybe that is because of the shutdown. Okay, I say again, I can buy you that. So if everybody now is buying on this ground, then because of the data is already adjusted or kind of not adjusted, hence therefore you have a very low inflation data, the question will be, what if they go back to work, right? If everybody go back to work right now, then the number will go up again, right? So from now 2.7 jump back to 3% again, would you think the market will like it? I don't know. So it's a bit ridiculous. And that's why I feel that the market now is kind of worried. And of course, Ray Dalio, as usual, again, come back in and warn the market that now the current situation is there may not be a recession, but it could be a monetary system breakdown. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So basically, this is really crazy. You can see that it's going everywhere. The data really show October and November is very limited data. So that's why you have a really meaningless thing. And of course, you saw the US yield basically shoot up despite that they are expecting the interest rate to go down, but the US yield actually shoot up. So again, all this tells you that the market is not buying into the rate cut. Yeah. Okay, so guys, that is the technical, that is fundamental for you. Let's go to the technical side right now. Okay, so what we have right now on the gold market this morning, gold opening price is 43.33 and the MLP is 43.36. So which means that the market is more towards the sell side. All right, more towards the sell side. And very importantly, the market now today is a doji again. Oh my God. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Now, I've never seen so many doji happening at the same time. Honestly, I don't have, only last time I saw about 4 to 5 consecutively, 3 to 4 was because there was a BOJ announcement, and that was on the dollar yen. But for gold to behave like this is something that I have not seen before, something new. Okay, I'm going to give a very strong statement here. So listen, everybody. Now, if gold is to go up, now yesterday gold already hit my target of 4355. All right, I told you it will go there. Well, it really went there, 4355. Fantastic. So we made money. Congratulations. But the thing is this, at the moment right now, 4355 becomes a strong resistance, and now the price trading lower. So today, if the gold stays below OP, because of it's below pivot 2, it's a classic sell signal, and it's a doji directional day, then I think today gold may touch this level 4304. This is the KCB that's available on the screen right now. Can you see that? KCB is at 4304. Now, why do I say that? For fundamentally now, if the inflation is really genuinely going down, then of course the Federal Reserve can cut interest rates. But we all see that the numbers are kind of massaged in a way. So therefore, the market will realize that, hey, come on, if that's the case itself, the Federal Reserve may not want to cut interest rate. So because of that, right, the market may move towards no cutting instead. And then if that's the case itself, the dollar will rebound. And once the dollar rebound, gold will come down. So that's why I felt that you must be careful on gold today. So 4304 is my target. Now, of course, if the market say that, okay, never mind, let's flow it, it's a Christmas rally, let's make everybody happy, it's time to buy, then of course, the first target, gold will go up, will be back to 4341. That is the pivot 2 level, the first resistance, okay? So 4341 will be the first target for me if it was to go up. 4304 will likely be the level that I think the market will sell down in the afternoon session, all right? In the afternoon session, I suspect that gold will go down to 4304, okay, in the afternoon. Why afternoon? Because that is where the US and the European all comes in, and they already realize that there's a problem with the numbers, and they'll become profit-taking, all right? So this is my personal view. Let's see how it developed, yeah? Okay, so that is for gold. Let's look at the Dow. Now, later on, I'll revise through what happened yesterday in the market, so stay tuned, yeah? Okay, Dow is more interesting. The Dow itself is also a DJDD, okay, doji. So today, the Dow opening price is 47,912. The MLP is 47,893. So the MLP is slightly lower. So by right, it's bullish for the market. With the KSI green and the KCX black, it should be able to stay up. But the thing is this, if the market stays below the MLP, which is currently now, then with the doji directional day, there is a possibility for the Dow Jones to tap this number, 47,721. So which means that if the market do drop a little bit more, we will see 170 points downside. Now, this is a very long tail, if you ask me. And being a very long tail, it makes sense to tell me that if the market sell, it may do the similar fashion. So the next target, the market could be going to KCB at 47,552. That means that this could be the next KCB point for the market, right? If the downside do comes in. Upside wise, of course, we can see is pivot one at 48,178. With the KSI, KCX positive is possible. But if you ask me, based on what I'm seeing right now, I still think that the market has a higher chance to come down to here instead, because a long tail pullback is always telling you that the market is selling and you're not buying. Yeah, it's more like a distribution than accumulation. Okay, so we have the Dow Jones done, we have the gold done. Let's look at silver. Okay, silver. Now, silver, in my opinion, today should be able to take some profit. 60, excuse me, 60. Oh, I can't see that. Hold on. $63.63. Oh, this nice number. $63.63. Where are we right now? Silver, $64.82. Silver can come back down to 63 today. Now, why do I say that? Because first of all, it's below OP, below MLP, and of course, the nearest KCB is there. Now, if there's going to be any selling in gold, then the market should likely be trading down to that level, yeah, 63 level. I think once you come back somewhere around here, this could be a pretty good level for you to look to buy or to buy back your short position, yeah. Now, longer term wise, I think if you can drop down to this KCB at $61.51, I think that will be better for you to buy for keeping, as long as it stays above the MA 30 at $59.43 for today. All right. Okay, good. So we are done with this. We have done with the few markets. I'd like to show you Bitcoin. Now, basically, I'm very bearish on Bitcoin, and I told you guys, Bitcoin will likely still trade lower than my the expectation to you. So we're coming to a weekend, and we have the KSI actually strengthening across the board. So I still feel that Bitcoin, there's a very high chance Bitcoin will trade down to 83,810. Okay, so this level here is 83,810. I really think that Bitcoin will test this level. Okay, and then it may even go crazy to test this level, which may break into the 79,882 series, which means that if Bitcoin do come down, it may go down all the way to 83,810. And then after that, it may even test this number. Now, once it tests this number at 79,000, maybe we can buy some, all right? Okay, but please wait for the Q. It may smash further because there's another KCB right here at 77,000. But I think that anything between 77,000 to 79,000 is kind of overbought, oversold at the moment. I think that those technical traders are coming to buy. So that's why let it go down lower, like smash down lower. You can put a limit order somewhere around there to basically, take some position when the market slam, okay? So do think and consider, yeah? And when you're putting limit order, it's free. You don't need to pay a single cent. Okay, so this will be my personal take on the Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin likelihood will be trading lower in the time to come. Yeah, traders just kind of take note of that. Okay. Okay, so that is the Bitcoin. Okay, so let's go through what happened yesterday in the market and how crazy it went. Oh my God, yesterday it was a really incredible day. I really went, it's like almost like up and down, up and down, up and down. So let's go through this, a short one before we end the session today. Yeah, a quick one on gold. So this was gold. What happened on gold this yesterday? All right, this is what happened to gold. Okay, both the pivot was traded. Both pivot were traded. Very crazy. All right, very rare to see this, but it happens. So let's take a look over here. Now, initially, gold stays below the OP. So generally, because it's below OP, for you to trip KTR -1 is very possible. Then after that, it tried to rebound, failed, hit pivot 2, stopped there, basically perfect. And then after that, wow, it was a big rally all the way to OP. Not too bad, right? It was up by $24 over here. Then after that, because of some news came in, and you can see almost instantly the market breaks below the OP and sold down. And of course, all the stops that was placed here were all triggered by the boys. And when the boys triggered all the stop loss, that's it. That was where the real deal came in. And of course, after that, the gold price shoot up all the way to the sky. Now, what is crazy was that the way the KTR plus 2 was here, look at the high. Oh my goodness, the high is exactly at the KTR plus 2. Oh my God, this is really insane. I mean, you have the KTR level created only in the morning at 6 a.m. in the morning and the first second of the day, and yet the gold can really go there, touch there, stop there, reverse there, break below pivot, which is a sell signal, and the market came off. And what is crazy, you saw this little tail here? The market really touched that tail, the tail touched the pivot 1 exactly, stopped there, and come back down. Now, it's the same thing over here, my friends. If you look carefully, this is where it stopped at hit the pivot, and then it shoot up, right? Now, over here, it touched the pivot, and then it shoot down. So imagine the whole downside from here is sold down all the way to here. It's basically more than $30. So imagine one 5-minute candle smash almost $30. I mean, seriously, who has the power to do that, right? So the thing is this, I want to show you this, the reason why. I'll come to this very shortly. And of course, let me just show you now why I said this. This is very mechanical. Let me just share this with you. Okay, give me a quick one. Hold on, yeah. Now gold have rebounded a little bit off the low back to 43.23 level. Okay, there's a diamond over there. Okay, let me just make it smaller. Okay, guys, so you can see that this is the gold chart. So just a quick one, yeah. You can see this is the, okay, let me just change the color for you. Okay, so the way the market sell this way, the only understanding is because this is done by the boys, right? Only the boys has the power to sell $30 down. So from here to here is $30, right? Okay, to be exact, it's $29. Okay, $29. So the closing is somewhere around 43.30. I'll make it easier, yeah. So 28. Okay. So the thing is this: if this is gonna be a mechanical thingy, the first wave came down, right? And then after that, you can see. Okay, let me just do this again. So from here to here is $28. And now the market came down, smashed down, ding dong, and stabilized all the way. And now it drops. Okay. So after it drops, so if the number here is 4330 minus 28, you will get a number of 4302. So which means that if the market is to do the same nose dive down, it will come down to here, which is about 4302, which basically is in line with the KCB at 4304. So of course, right now we have the blue diamond. So as long as the blue diamond call for buy, we still look for buy, but it's below OP, so trade small. But if later on, if the market do come down later on, right, I suspect that it might happen. And when it happens, it will go, should be coming down to here, because based on the big candlestick theory, right, and the numbers itself, all in sight. So all these are actually something that I will share with a lot of people during the PTP program, or we have it in the Vietnam called the CMC program. Right, this is how we do the calculation of big candlestick movement. Now, of course, if the market goes up, then of course this candle will be obsolete. All right, but if it doesn't, then of course the downside is very high chance to see 4304 in the near term. Okay, guys. All right, so that will be all for today's sharing. Thank you very much for listening to me. I wish you all the best. For those who are for the Christmas party tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Yep. Okay, bye-bye.